The following NBC sports program is brought to you in living color.
25-game winner Tom Seaver, the New York Mets, failed to win his first series start. He was beaten by this left-hander of Baltimore, Mike Cuellar. And today they meet again in the fourth game of the 1969 World Series. Hello from New York. I'm Jim Simpson with Sandy Koufax and Mickey Mantle. And gentlemen, I don't know whether to sit here and smile or just break down and cry. As experts, you've done a whale of a job. Baltimore, you said on Sunday. Baltimore, you said yesterday. And here are the Mets leading 2-1.
I think they bought us these red jackets to kind of cover up our red faces.
I don't think it's doing too good a job myself.
Well,
Sandy, what's going on?
I hope the weatherman's a lot righter about these ball games than we've been. I don't think Baltimore could have two worse enemies than us two for picking them.
The experts now say, let's cover ourselves. The experts now say the Mets will win, but they weren't saying it before. The series, I mean.
Well, I'm sort of glad that I picked the Mets for yesterday. That way I don't feel like I'm a front runner if I say it today.
Well, we could spend a lot of time apologizing, but let's forget it. Let's be the experts again today and talk about yesterday and talk about what's coming up today as we'll return with more World Series Report right after this message. Sandy, pitching is the name of the game, and Gary Gentry, we said yesterday, had great stuff, but we felt that Jim Palmer was more overpowering, not yesterday.
Definitely not. Both Mickey and I think, were a little guilty of looking at Palmer and what he had done against us. Mickey remembers hitting against him and having his troubles. I remember seeing him in a World Series a couple of years ago when he shut us out. I was a pitcher that day, so I had a lot of respect for him. Gentry, I have a lot of respect for. I didn't realize he threw quite that hard. I don't think Baltimore did either. Gary pitched a great ball game. He had a good fastball and curveball, and he had great control. The only thing that happened to him, he got a little tired. He hadn't completed very many ball games all year. I believe he only completed 6 games out of 35 starts. So there was sort of this feeling that he might not finish it, but you've got a fellow like Nolan Ryan in the bullpen, and he does throw as hard as everybody knows. And he came in with the bases loaded in the 7th inning, and with the help of Tommy Agee's great catch, got out of that inning and pitched great baseball until the 9th. In the 9th inning, got into a little bit of trouble on his own. He got the bases loaded. With 2 out, he had Blair at the plate again and threw Blair 2 great fastballs and had him well set up. And then on the 2-strike count, threw him a curveball. Blair, just looking fastball, just stood there, couldn't even swing at it, took it for strike 3, and the Mets were out on the field, and it didn't even resemble what was possibly called the dead Mets of the first game. They looked great.
Well, one more thing about Gentry was his hitting. He'd got that double on a fastball from Palmer that drove in the 2nd and 3rd runs of the ball game. But Mickey, here in New York, and you played a lot of center field, and I know that when they looked at Tommy Agee, they're thinking Mickey Mantle and Willie Mays and others. But if you talk in New York, if you listen to New York today, you keep hearing the name Tommy Agee.
Well, I think so far, as far as I'm concerned, it's been the, especially yesterday, it was the story of the game. I thought it was, most good baseball people will tell you that you have to have a guy in center field that can make those plays, and Tommy Agee has certainly shown me that he can make them. I think those were 2 of the best plays I've ever seen. And the first time up was against Elrod Hendricks as a left-handed hitter. He's playing him in left center and or right center, and the ball's hit plumb over in left center, and he catches it. And then I think that probably the hardest thing about that play is where he was playing. I know in your scouting reports sometime when you get a scouting report, they'll tell you that this guy will never hit a ball over there, but he sure hit this one. And that's about as far as a guy can run and catch a ball, because he hit the fence just as soon as he caught it.
Look at the white of it, what we say the white is showing in baseball. In other words, it looks like the ball is sitting right up there on top of his glove, or perhaps even went through.
Well, when I first saw that play, I thought the ball did stick on the outside of his glove, but it was stuck in his webbing. And it looked like it almost came all the way through the webbing.
He said after the game that Tommy Seaver usually checks his glove for him. He says, I'm sure when he pitches tomorrow, meaning today, he'll really check it. He said, but the webbing was actually a little loose, and there was a danger of the ball actually falling through. Now, Sandy brought up the fact that in the 7th inning of the game, when Gentry was getting a little tired. He had the bases loaded. On came Nolan Ryan, and Ryan retired Paul Blair, but boy, what a way he retired him as Agee came again and saved another 3 runs with a great catch.
He did, and again, that was on a Paul Blair is supposed to be a left-handed pull hitter, and he hits this ball in right center. I think that Tommy kind of misjudged that ball a little bit. It was a great catch when it was the way it turned out and everything, but I thought he could have probably have gotten there a little bit sooner. When you see an outfielder tap his glove like that when he's running, he thinks he has it.
Well, you know, it's a funny thing, not to interrupt, but as we'll watch it again in slow motion, and I'll see him tap his glove here a couple of times, Agee said that this was not the best catch of the 2.
No, it's a great catch the way it turned out, because he had to finally run and dive at it. But I think that he lost a little bit of the wind or the currents out in Shea Stadium, kind of took that ball away from him a little bit farther than he thought.
Well, he also had the home run. Agee had a great day. The Mets had a great day. They lead 2 games to 1. Tom Seaver, Mike Cuellar. Get those blushes ready, gentlemen. You've got to do some more predicting. We'll be back in just a moment with more World Series Report after this message.
This is Gatorade, the greatest thirst quencher ever made.
Says who?
Says the New York Yankees, the Minnesota Twins, the Cincinnati Reds, the Detroit Tigers, the Chicago White Sox, the Oakland Athletics. Fact is, Gatorade has become the official thirst quencher of baseball. And, oh yes, the Main Street Hawks say it tastes so good it makes you glad you get thirsty. Gatorade, the big thirst quencher.
Gentlemen, before we go ahead to the 4th game today at Shea Stadium, let us go back to our first show last Saturday. At that time, Mike Cuellar was going against Tom Seaver. Drag out your expertise from then Saturday. And Mickey Mantle was saying, I think one of the real comers in the American League is Don Buford, and it turned out that way. Think Buford's going to have the same kind of day today against Seaver?
Well, I hope so. I feel kind of silly sitting here trying to predict anything right now after what's happened, but I look for Buford to come back a little bit today. I look for the whole Baltimore team to come back today. I think that they've gone just about as far as they can afford to go. If they're going to do it, they're going to have to do it right now.
6 singles in the last 2 days is all that the Baltimore hitting has had, Mickey. And not only that, the Robinsons, Brooks and Frank, and Boog Powell and Paul Blair only have 6 hits among them, and 3 of those are by Boog Powell.
Well, Boog's been hitting the ball very good. The game against Kuzman, Boog hit a couple of balls right on the nose, but it's right at someone. But I look for him to start bleeding a couple of hits in somewhere along the line.
I remember you yesterday, Sandy, let's forget last Saturday, yesterday saying that Tom Seaver is due for a gem of a game, and you were predicting that he would have it today.
Jim, I just feel this way. I think the Mets are again getting their other lineup, the right-hand hitting lineup, into the order. I like the club that played better yesterday, but I feel that Tom Seaver, whether he admits it or not, he said it didn't bother him, but being over-rested, having a week between starts, hurts a pitcher. I don't think Tom, being the kind of guy he is, wants to use that as an excuse, but I've got to feel that hurt him. He's too good a pitcher to pitch the 2 ball games he pitched, 1 in the playoffs and 1 against Baltimore. And I just feel somebody's going to find out very shortly just how good a pitcher he is, and I think it's going to be today.
Well, let's not forget Mike Cuellar, who won that first game, pitched excellent ball. And I don't know if this is a factor or not, but it's cool in New York today, and Cuellar had a warm day Saturday and likes the warmth. Think it'll affect him or not?
Well, I think the heat sometimes will bother a pitcher. There are some pitchers that like warmer weather. Cuellar possibly being one of them, I really don't know. But I also feel that there aren't that many screwball pitchers in the major leagues, and I think sometimes the first time a club sees one, it's even more difficult than it is normally. I don't think Cuellar is a flash in the pan, and he can only win 1 ball game, but the Mets have seen him and know him pretty well now, and it's not a question of that. To me, it's Tom Seaver.
Well, let me ask you another question about Cuellar, though, about the screwball. We described it last Saturday very briefly, since there'll be all right-handers, probably 9 of them today for the Mets, and Cuellar's a left-handed pitcher to them. What does a screwball do again?
Well, it will break down and away from a right-hand hitter, much in the way that a right-hander's curveball will, probably. Not as quickly and not as big, but Mickey, being a switch hitter, never had to look at that kind of pitch.
Gentlemen, get out your flags of truce. or get out your expertise, or get out your rabbit's feet or something, because you got to make a prediction in just a moment. We'll return with those predictions right after this message. I'm of the opinion, Sandy, that you're Tom Seaver and the Mets today. First time.
Yes, it is the first time. The only thing I'm worried about, yesterday, I think every Met fan in New York came up to me and said, do me a favor, don't pick them.
Oh,
you know,
really?
They're so confident of our picks. I think they feel that we've got a jinx on anybody, but I've got to say that Tom Seaver's just too good a pitcher, and I feel like he's going to have a great ball game.
All right, Mickey. Baltimore and Buford, or are you going with the Mets?
Well, I'm going to stick with Cuellar. He threw 72 screwballs the other day, I think, and they didn't hurt him too bad. So if he can get 72 more of them over today, why, I think the Baltimore's still in there.
I wonder if anybody knows we're hedging our bets. We got one each way. We can't be all wrong, can we? Jim Simpson with Mickey, Mantle and Sandy Koufax. And stay tuned now for the fourth game of the 1969 World Series.
Bronson meets a matador involving both men in a daring and unusual challenge tonight.
NBC Sports presents the fourth game of the 1969 World Series. The Baltimore Orioles versus the New York Mets from Shea Stadium in New York City. Brought to you by the Hartford Insurance Group and Hartford agents and brokers everywhere. By Gillette, we have a new adjustable razor for a more comfortable shave. And by Chrysler Corporation, engineering with care. Your host for today, your local Dodge dealer. Once again, off the Flushing subway, from the highways, and nearby LaGuardia Airport, crowds streaming into Met Stadium. This is the coolest day of the 4 games we've had for the World Series. The temperature in New York right now is 67. But it's a brilliant, sunshiny day, and everybody's set now to see if the Mets are going to take a commanding lead or if the Orioles are going to come back and square the World Series at 2 games apiece. I'm Curt Gowdy of NBC, Lindsay Nelson, the broadcaster of the New York Mets, and roaming the stands again will be my Game of the Week sidekick, Tony Kubek. Well, so far, the Mets lead on almost unbelievable fielding, but they've been a sound defensive team all year. And it's a question of whether you think the Orioles are in a team batting slump or the Met pitchers have been overpowering. The Orioles now have scored only 1 run in the last 2 games and have been held to just 12 hits in the 3 games. Neither team has exactly torn the cover off the ball. There have been only 30 hits by the 2 teams in the series, and one of them could break out today. The pitchers for the Orioles will be Mike Cuellar, who won the opening game of the series, a 23-game winner during the year. He's coming back with 3 days rest, but this was his regular schedule during the season. He doesn't need 4 days. Going for the Mets will be the winningest pitcher in the major leagues, Tom Seaver, who won 25, but who has been ineffective in his last 2 starts against Atlanta in the National League Championship Series, and in the first game he was a loser against the Baltimore Orioles. Now to set you up further on Game 4 and to take you around his home park here at Shea Stadium, let's swing over to Lindsay Nelson. But first, Lindsay, let's look at those 2 great catches yesterday. Tom Agee playing over in right center. This is off the bat of Ellie Hendricks. Many call this one of the best catches in World Series history. Agee says this was his hardest one. His manager, Gil Hodges, disagrees with him. He thought the second catch with the bases loaded off the bat of Paul Blair was a more difficult catch. And notice how that white of the ball is still showing. Now here's his second one. Agee said he thought he had it all the way, tapped his glove, then the wind suddenly blew it away from him. And he has to dive and skid to hold on to it. Now this town's seen some great center fielding, and Joe DiMaggio and Willie Mays, but probably never in a World Series game have there been two such catches made by one player, and those two catches, by the way, saved 5 runs for the New York Mets. And right now, Mr. Lindsay Nelson.
Thank you very much, Curt Gowdy, and hello again, everybody. It's the second time around with Cuellar against Seaver, and this is an indicative game in the World Series because if the Orioles win it, they're all even with the knowledge they'll be going back to their home park in Baltimore. If the Mets win it, they'll be leading 3-1 with the knowledge they have one more to play in their home park here at Shea Stadium. It is a bright, beautiful day here at Shea down the left field line to the corner. It's 341 feet, and it is 358 to the transparent fence. In front of the bullpen, 371 up the power alley, 396 to left center, 410 to straightaway center field. And then moving on around, it's 396 again, symmetrical, 371 in front of the scoreboard, 358 in front of the transparent fence in front of the Met bullpen, and 341 down to the right field corner. At this moment, the Armed Forces color guard is on the field. And today, the Baltimore Orioles are playing the very same batting order and lineup that they played yesterday, with the exception of Mike Cuellar. And the New York Mets are going back to their right-hand batting order, the one that they used for the 2 games played in Baltimore. So that's the scene here at Shea Stadium. And once again, here's Curt Gowdy.
All right, Lindsay, now we're going to have the starting lineups announced and presented to the crowd and to the national television audience here at Shea Stadium.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Shea Stadium for the 4th game of the 1969 World Series. Here are the official lineups. First, the Baltimore Orioles. Here is the manager of the Orioles, number 4, Earl Weaver. Batting first, playing left field, number 9, Don Buford. Batting second, playing center field, number 6, Paul Blair. Batting third, playing right field, number 20, Frank Robinson. Batting fourth, playing first base, number 26, John Powell. Batting fifth, playing third base, number 5, Brooks Robinson. Batting sixth, catching, number 10, Elrod Hendricks. Batting seventh, playing second base, number 15, Dave Johnson. Batting eighth, playing shortstop, number 7, Mark Bellinger. Batting ninth, pitching for the Orioles, warming up adjacent to home plate, number 35, Mike Cuellar. Here are the remaining players and coaches of the Baltimore Orioles. Now, the New York Mets. Here's the manager of the Mets, number 14, Gil Hodges. Batting first, playing center field, number 20, Tommy Agee. Batting second, playing shortstop, number 3, Bud Harrelson. Batting third, playing left field, number 21, Cleon Jones. Batting fourth, playing first base, number 22, Donn Clendenon. Batting fifth, playing right field, number 4, Ron Swoboda. Batting sixth, playing third base. Number 5, Ed Charles. Batting seventh, catching. Number 15, Jerry Garodi. Batting eighth, playing second base. Number 6, Al Weiss. Batting ninth, pitching, warming up in the Mets bullpen. Number 14, Tom. Number 41, Tom Seaver. Here are the remaining players and coaches of the New York Mets. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we ask you to please rise for our national anthem, which will be sung by the famous TV and recording star, Mr. Gordon MacRae.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We don't have an orchestra today, so I have to sing the national anthem, what they call a cappella, which means alone. But the way you sang it yesterday, I won't be alone. I've lowered the key, so let's show the country how the Met fans can sing our national anthem. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the
The fourth game of the 1969 World Series being brought to you from New York as the Orioles meet the Mets. We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network. Most of you may have read there's been a moratorium declared here by Mayor Lindsay in New York today. We did not have the band for the national anthem, but we'll read you a statement from the commissioner of baseball. Right now we're going to the commissioner's box. Casey Stengel, who won 7 world championships in 10 years with the Mets, the original Met manager who really established the image of the Mets there in New York. And of course, one of the most colorful men in the history of the game, has the honor of throwing out the first ball. Gowdy taking the toss. Originally the flag was going to be at half-mast today, but I'm quoting this statement from Bowie Kuhn after consultation with interested parties, including involved military personnel and the mayor of New York. I've decided to fly the Shea Stadium flag at full staff today. The Mets take the field. They're leading in the World Series, 2-1. Young Tom Seaver has been warming up out in the Met bullpen. He's now in the dugout. Very shortly he's coming out, and now to set you up the Mets defensively and take over for the play-by-play, Lindsay Nelson.
Thank you very much, Curt Gowdy. That's Donn Clendenon at first base for the Mets. Al Weiss is at second. Bud Harrelson, the shortstop. And Ed Charles around at third. Cleon Jones is in left field. Tommy Agee, yesterday's hero, in center field. And Ron Swoboda is around in right. Jerry Grody again is the Met catcher. And Tom Seaver has not yet come out onto the field. As Curt Gowdy indicated, he had been warming up down in the bullpen area. Seaver getting his second start as we're to the point where we're going the second time around in pitching assignments. Cuellar opposed Seaver in the opening game Saturday in Baltimore. The game won by the Baltimore Orioles by a score of 4-1. Mrs. Casey Stengel is being escorted. There's Edna getting a handshake from the commissioner of baseball. And Casey Stengel there, and perhaps you saw when he was standing, and sitting just now over to the right is Joe DiMaggio, who played for Casey when he was winning those pennants for the New York Yankees. Now Seaver runs out to the mound. Baseball's winningest pitcher this year, the winningest pitcher in the major leagues with 25 victories. He was the losing pitcher in the opening game last Saturday. He has been disappointing his last 2 times out, both in the championship series against the Atlanta Braves, in which he did get the victory, and against the Baltimore Orioles in a game in which he took the loss. He was 25-7 with a 2.21 earned run average. Tom Seaver. It's a little crisp here today, and we were talking to Seaver before the ball game. He was saying it's a little bit like the weather at Fairbanks, Alaska, when he played for the Alaska Gold Panners, which he did, along with Kurt Moten, who is a member of the squad of these Baltimore Orioles. The Mets are pinning their hopes on a return to form of Tom Seaver in this afternoon's ball game.
You know, Lindsay, we noticed when the Orioles were introduced a much more determined-looking team when they went to the foul lines today. They're grim, and they know now this is it. They've got to get moving here in this series.
This is indeed a pivotal game in the World Series. And Don Buford's coming up. Keep in mind that in Baltimore, on the second pitch thrown by Tom Seaver, Buford hit it out for a home run. Don Buford hit .291 during the regular American League season. He is 2 for 11 so far in the World Series. He's had 1 home run and 2 runs batted in. Seaver's first pitch. And it's in there for a call strike to Don Buford. That's Paul Blair on deck. Both Buford and Seaver, opposing each other right here, played college baseball at the University of Southern California. Buford came to the Orioles from the Chicago White Sox. Change up. Short hopped into Grody. The third baseman is Ed Charles, in on the grass there against the speed of Don Buford. That's in for a call strike. It's 1-2. Seaver facing Buford. Seaver has a fastball, good slider, breaking pitch, and has thrown more changeups this year than ever before, and he's been followed by the remainder of the Met staff in that regard. Breaking pitch, and it's a little low. It's 2-2. Return throw gets away. The umpire behind the plate is Shag Crawford of the National League, calling balls and strikes, and you will note that he works extremely close to the catcher. He's having a word there with Gowdy at the moment. Not as close as he once did, but still very close. Fouled off and out of play. We were talking to Shag Crawford before the start of today's ball game. He has never worked behind Ellie Hendricks, of course, and he said that before the game now he would say to Ellie, I do work extremely close. Don't let it worry you, because with runners on base, I'll move back a little. But he gets right up there. Swing and a miss. Seaver gets a strikeout.
Batting in the second position.
And that brings up Paul Blair.
Number 6.
The umpire, Shag Crawford, behind the plate. He's from the National League. Lou DeMuro of the American League at first. Big Lee Wire of the National League at second. Hike Soar of the American League at third. Frank Sikori of the National League down the left field line. Larry Knapp of the American League down the right field line. Pitch to Paul Blair. In there for a called strike. Blair hit .285 during the American League season. He is 1 for 11 so far in World Series play this year. Breaking pitch low and away. It's 1-1. Foul back. In with the fastball, and it's 1-2 now. Gil Hodges felt hopefully that Seaver would be sharp today as he was during the regular season because of the fact that he's pitching in his regular turn now. After having pitched last Saturday, this would be his regular turn. After the Mets clinched the championship in the Eastern Division, he did not work in regular turn, and there's some feeling that that might have affected his work. Low, it's 2-2. Seaver is 24 years of age. Born in Fresno, California. Gil Hodges wearing the jacket here at Shea today. There is a base hit for Paul Blair in the center field. Agee up with it, returns it. Blair turns and holds with a single to center, the first base hit of the ball game. Checks in with Coach George Stoller at first base.
Right fielder, number 20, Frank.
And now Frank Robinson. Batted .308 during the American League season. Robinson is 1 for 9 during this World Series. The coach at third at the left of your screen is Billy Hunter, and George Stoller is the coach at first at the bottom of your screen. Swing and a miss. Strike one to Frank Robinson. Robinson, one of baseball's superstars. Blair's back safely. Breaking pitch, and it's hit deep to left center field, way back. Agee's at the track, and he's waiting and makes the catch. Halfway on the fly ball to left center, Blair retreats to first base. 2 men out. Boog Powell is coming up.
Batting in the fourth position.
And at .304 during the American League season, he is 3 for 11 in this World Series. John Wesley Powell.
Fans might wonder about the black under the eyes. That's lamp black to put in there to knock the glare of the sun. And we have a light sky today, no clouds, and a very bright sun.
2 men out, runner at first. Top half of the first inning, no score. Seaver's pitch is fouled out to the left side, out of play for strike one. Oddly enough, this was the only year that the Mets and Orioles did not meet in exhibition play in the spring. They have met in every other season except this one. Moved him back inside with the fastball. It's 1-1. Breaking pitch, it's fouled off. Change speed, it's 1-2. Back safely, Paul Blair, 2 men out. It's high for a ball. Yesterday, we didn't hear much of the air traffic in and out of LaGuardia because of the direction of the wind. However, today, they are using the runway nearest to this ballpark, so you're likely to hear the noise of jet planes throughout the afternoon. This will be a 2-2 pitch to Powell. And it's in there for a call, strike 3. He struck him out. 2 strikeouts for Seaver in the inning. The side is retired with no runs, a hit, no errors, and 1 left. In the middle of the first inning, the score is Baltimore 0 and the Mets coming to bat. Powell at first base. Dave Robinson is at second. Mark Belanger is the shortstop. And Brooks Robinson is at third. Don Buford has not put in an appearance yet in left field, so we are awaiting his appearance. Paul Blair is in center. And Frank Robinson is in right. The catcher is Ellie Hendricks. And the pitcher is Mike Cuellar. He is 32 years of age. He was the winningest left-hander in the major leagues this year with 23 victories. He was the winning pitcher for the Orioles last Saturday over the Mets when the score was 4-1. Won 23, lost 11. The earned run average 2.38. Born in Santa Clara, Cuba. Now, Buford starts, comes back. Earl Weaver, the manager, moving down to the end of the dugout to see what is the problem with his left fielder. Apparently he has a knee bandage that was not comfortable, and he is readjusting it there. You saw him reach down and start moving that knee around. He's not satisfied with it yet. So the trainer will do a little work on it now. The umpire there is Shag Crawford. Appears to be more than just the bandage that was bothering him. Apparently it's the knee that was bothering him. Don Buford. Listen to the ovation Tommy Agee gets now with this PA announcement.
Tommy Agee.
Lindsay, Earl Weaver standing on the steps of the Baltimore dugout watching Buford for any signs that he may not be able to go at full speed out there.
Agee, the hero, yesterday led off with a home run for the New York Mets. Here's a breaking pitch in there for a called strike. Now, in his victory last Saturday, there's Earl Weaver in the dugout of the Baltimore Orioles. Cuellar last Saturday threw 60 to 70% screwballs. It's his big pitch. And away, it's 1-1. Agee hit .271 during the regular season. He's had only one hit in this World Series, but it was a big one. A leadoff home run yesterday. Breaking pitch it on the ground to third. Brooks Robinson with a big hop. Cross to Boog Powell, and Agee is out. That will bring up the Mets shortstop, Bud Harrelson, who is a switch hitter.
Playing shortstop, number 3.
He is 2 for 9 in the World Series so far.
Number 3.
A beautiful October afternoon in New York. Shea Stadium packed and jammed for this, the 4th game of the 1969 World Series. Bunted, foul. Out of play. Harrelson trying to bunt his way on. Harrelson had a knee operation last September 24th. His knee had bothered him throughout the season, and so before the end of the year, he submitted to surgery. Got a late start in spring training and then had a great season for the New York Mets. Outside, 1-1. Cuellar has worked here at Shea Stadium before, of course, when he was in the National League. That's a little low for a ball. He worked here last on August 18th, 1968, and lost 8-1. This is a foul ball. It's back and out of play. This game is authorized under television rights granted by Major League Baseball solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Commissioner of Baseball is prohibited. There's a base hit. Left field, Buford comes up with it. Harrelson turns and holds with the first Met base hit, a single to left. He checks in with Yogi Berra.
Number 21,
Leon Jones is the batter. Jones batted .340 during the National League season. He led the National League at bat for much of the year. In this World Series, he's had one hit. He is 1 for 12. Now the Met fans start a chant of "Let's go Mets." It's in for a call strike.
Looking out to center, we still see Paul Blair playing a fairly shallow center field against these Mets.
We talked to him about that before the game, Curt. He said that the background did not bother him as it has bothered many center fielders. Harrelson's back safely. Back again. 1968, Cuellar's record against the Mets was no wins and 2 losses. One of those was a 1-0 loss to Tom Seaver. It was at Houston on June 20th. Ground ball is short. Belanja to Johnson for 1, the throw on, and a double play. 6-4-3 if you're scoring, and the side is retired. With no runs, a hit, no errors, and none left. And at the end of an inning, the score is Baltimore nothing, the Mets nothing. Tonight at 11:30, 10:30 Central Time, NBC News presents A Day in October. What does it mean? A 90-minute program evaluating today's Vietnam moratorium. Frank McGee, John Chancellor, and Ed Newman will join other NBC correspondents and spokesmen from the conflicting viewpoints. Tonight at 11:30, 10:30 Central Time, here on NBC. Brooks Robinson up to lead off for the Orioles in the second. Tom Seaver's pitch in there for a called strike. Robinson hit .234 during the regular American League season. He's 1 for 12 in this World Series. He has batted in 1 run. Outside for a ball. 1-1. This franchise was moved from St. Louis to Baltimore in 1954. That's Ellie Hendricks on deck. Swinging a foul ball back and out of play. In St. Louis, this Oriole franchise was known as the St. Louis Browns. And in many respects, they were the Mets of their day, the early day Mets. So we have, in effect, the one-time St. Louis Browns playing the New York Mets for the championship of the world. Shortstop, one hop, taken by Harrelson across to Donn Clendenon. Brooks Robinson's out. One away, and it'll bring up Ellie Hendricks.
Batting in the 6th position, catcher, number 10.
Hendricks played 9 years of minor league baseball, including 3 years in Mexico. They like to have him catch Cuellar because of the fact that both speak Spanish. They think that gives them a little closer affinity. Change-up. On away, and it's ball 1.
One of the reasons for Agee's first great catch was this fella, Hendricks. The Mets are playing him to right, and that's the book on him, and they had to go in the left center to get the ball.
Swing and a miss, 1-1. Hendricks said before the ball game he doesn't recall ever hitting a ball any harder to that field than he did yesterday. The book on him says he's a line drive hitter that may hit it over the right field fence for you. Foul out, 1-2. That's Dave Johnson on deck. Inside low. 2-2. Low, and the count is full at 3-2. Baltimore nothing, the Mets nothing in the top of the second. Shea Stadium in New York. Here's the payoff pitch. And he walked him. First walk issued by Seaver. The Orioles, their second base runner.
Second baseman, number 15.
Dave Johnson coming up.
Dave Johnson, number 15.
Johnson hit .280 during the American League season. He has gone 0 for 8 so far in this World Series. Ground ball to short. Harrelson goes back to Weiss, and the relay to first. Not in time. He beat the relay despite the big stretch by Donn Clendenon. So the force play makes it 2 away, and Mark Belanger will be coming up.
He tried to pull that ball. It was an outside pitch.
Batting in the 8th position.
Big hop. Harrelson gets rid of it quickly.
Number 7.
Johnson went down the line, got a good break from home plate.
Number 7.
And going in there hard, of course, with Hendricks to help bother the throw. But Johnson the cross and safe.
Mark Belanger hit .287 this year during the regular season. He's 1 for 8 in this World Series. Seaver's pitch is low for a ball. That's in for a called strike. This past year, Belanger's average went from .208 to .287. Down the right field line, Swoboda racing after it and gets in foul territory. It's out of play.
If we watch Belanger, this is Davy Johnson going back to first, who's all around the third. If you watch him with the bat, you'll see how he's choked up in the handle. He's closed his stance up. He's trying to wait later, and he's trying to hit down on the ball. Charlie Lau, the batting coach of the Orioles, gave him those tips. He put him to good practice, and that's the reason he raised his average those 80 points. Watch how he chokes up now.
He has a count of 1 ball and 2 strikes. There are 2 men out with a runner at first. There's no score in the game. Runner goes, and the pitch is high. Grody's throw to Harrelson, and he's out at second base.
This is Johnson going. He's going against a strong arm in Jerry Grody. It was a high throw, but had enough on it. Harrelson down there, and let the runner tag himself out.
No runs, no hits, no errors, and none left. And in the middle of the second inning, it's Baltimore nothing and the Mets nothing.
Lindsay and I were just chatting here about Jerry Grody. Gil Hodges said his arm is just a shade behind Johnny Bench's, Lindsay.
The coaches now, Eddie Yost at third for the Mets, and Yogi Berra on the lines at first. And Donn Clendenon is up to lead off, facing screwballer Mike Cuellar. Swinging a foul ball off and out of play. Clendenon was the only Met to get 2 hits off Cuellar in the first game. He had a double and a single and struck out twice and 4 times at bat. Clendenon hit .248 during the National League season, and in this World Series, he's 3 for 7. He's had 1 home run and 1 run batted in. That's in for a called strike. 0-2 now to Clendenon. Inside low. Miss low and away, so it's 2-2. It's out full at 3-2 now to Clendenon. This will be a payoff pitch from Cuellar to Clendenon. It's out of here for a home run for Donn Clendenon. Second home run of this World Series pushed the Mets to a 1-0 lead.
Watch, this is either a screwball or a breaking pitch. It didn't act up. Right out over the plate for him. Clendenon, full power behind him. and lashed that one right out.
Now Ron Swoboda's up, and the pitch is high and away for a ball. Swoboda during the season hit .235. He's 1 for 7 in the World Series. He said against the screwball, he might very well try to take it to right field today. It's high and away for a ball, 2-0. Cuellar changed his speed with that screwball. Ground ball to deep short. Big hop for Belanger. Long throw across to Powell, and Swoboda's out. 1 away. And now Ed Charles, whom the Mets affectionately call the grand old man of the New York Mets at age 36.
Ed Charles.
Charles, so he finally made the World Series in his 18th year of professional baseball. Foul back and out of play. The 4th game of the World Series is being brought to you in living color on NBC. And for those of you who can't take a 3-hour lunch and watch the game, you can listen to the game back in the office on NBC Radio with Jim Simpson and Bill O'Donnell. 1-1. Jerry Grody is on deck. 1-1 delivery. One hop to short. Belanger across to Boog. Powell, and Charles is out. 2 away.
These last 2 outs, the Mets have hit the ball sharply, hard, right at Belanger, and they're putting more wood on the ball than they did in the opening game they faced Cuellar.
Jerry Grody hit .252 for the season, 1 for 4 in this World Series. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Low for a ball. It's 1-1 to Jerry Grody. He checked, took it low. It's 2-1. Cuellar came up to Cincinnati in 1959 in the National League, went over to the Cardinals in '64. He was traded with Ron Taylor to Houston on June 15, 1965. Swing and a miss. 2-2. And last December, Baltimore made a deal with Houston. Cuellar with infielder Tom Johnson for Curt Gowdy. Fouled off and out of play. Cuellar proceeded to be the biggest winner in the major leagues with 23. So here today we have the winningest left-hander in the majors this year against the winningest right-hander in the majors this year. Cuellar against Seaver. In there for a call, strike 3. Caught him looking. First strikeout for Cuellar. The Mets are out in the second. 1 run on 1 hit, no errors, and none left at the end of 2 full innings of play. The score is the Mets 1 and Baltimore nothing. Let's go down to Tony Kubek.
With me down here, a man who has given 50 years of his life to baseball, the president of the National League, Mr. Warren Giles. Mr. Giles, everybody's starting to believe the Mets.
Oh, I believe in them. I tell you, they have what they call going for them, something, a togetherness or something, cohesion, whatever it is. It's great. It's just wonderful for baseball that a New York team, the Cinderella team, really can do this thing and get into this World's Classic. Sam, I'm kind of proud of this cap. I'm going to put that on, that NBC cap there.
Our people are going to be proud of you, too.
Good deal.
Thank you, Mr. Giles. We appreciate you being here.
Wonderful being here.
Thank you. Let's go on upstairs.
Mike Belanger takes a pitch high and tight for ball one. He was at the plate when Johnson was thrown out at second in the second inning. So it's Belanger's first time up. Tom Seaver with the pitch. Changes speed, gets it in there for a call strike. Breaking pitch, it's 1-1. And now Shag Crawford has turned and pointed the finger. And Crawford moves on over toward the dugout. And that's Earl Weaver, the manager of the Baltimore Orioles, coming out now. Shag Crawford calling balls and strikes here today. And Weaver's just behind him as he moves back, and he's out of the ball game. Earl Weaver has been thrown out of this World Series. Their gesture is repeated. Well, it's a little unusual for a manager to be thrown out of a World Series, because usually the commissioner explains to them before the start that this is a little something special. It's a big event, but apparently whatever he said got Crawford's immediate attention.
During the season, they're not supposed to protest on balls and strikes. But they say, unless something really unusual happens, leave the ball players in there, the managers. This is the event. It looks like Weaver's out. And a few times. In fact, they'll be scurrying to, well, let's see, what's he going to do? He's gone. He's down the dugout and gone.
Down the runway and into the locker room. And the pitch is high and away and out of Belanger. Weaver's out of this ball game. We can only guess who's running the club. I guess Billy Hunter, you suppose, Curt? It's only a guess. Line drive to right and a base hit for Belanger. One hop. Taken by Swoboda and played back, and it's the second base hit now for the Orioles. Off Tom Seaver.
Could be Bamberger. It still could be Weaver back somewhere watching it on TV, too.
Number 35.
There have been cases of that. Cuellar is up now in what may very well be a sacrifice situation for the Baltimore Orioles. He had 117 during the regular season. Squares to bunt, bunts, and pulled it back, says umpire Shag Crawford, so make it a ball. Had the bat out there and pulled it off the pitch. He was out of the strike zone, and it is ball one. Cuellar was 1 for 3 and batted in a run in that game Saturday. It is low, 2-0. The Mets are leading 1-0. The Orioles batting in the top of the third. 2-0 pitch. In the strike zone, it's 2-1. Squared again. Sacrifice has apparently been on all three pitches. Hey, he bluffed it and punched it into left field for a base hit. Moving on to second is Belanger, and Cuellar is on at first with a single to left. Bluffed the butt, and then punched it to left field. Nobody out, runners first and second.
You see a lot of players try and do that. It's difficult. Cuellar was a real artist with that one.
Now it's Don Buford coming up, and he's a switch hitter. He's been up one time and he struck out. The Mets protecting against the sacrifice possibility here, with Clendenon in on the grass at first and Charles on the edge of the grass at third. Seaver will cover on the third base side, and it's in for a strike as he was squaring to bunt and took the pitch in the strike zone. Mets here will have Clendenon covering on the first base side, Seaver on the third base side, Charles hanging around the bag to take a possible throw for a possible force. Breaking pitch inside low, blocked by Gowdy. He was around to bunt again. Belanger at second. And Cuellar at first.
Lindsay, you've seen Seaver since he came up with the Mets. He's a very good fielding pitcher, isn't he?
Excellent fielding pitcher. He's agile. He's a good all-round athlete. This will be a 1-1 pitch to Don Buford. Hammered on the ground to Clendenon. What a play. The force at second and no throwback. Moving on to third is Belanger as they get the middleman Cuellar. That ball came within a millimeter of being bounced over the head of Clendenon at first base. He was way in on the edge of the grass. So now runners at first and third, one man out, and Paul Blair coming up.
Center fielder, Paul.
That 6'4" frame didn't hurt the Mets there at first base.
Didn't hurt at all. And Paul Blair is up now. He had the first base hit of this ball game in the first inning off Tom Seaver. Mets keep Harrelson and Weiss at double play depth. The Mets are leading 1-0. The Orioles threatening here in the top half of the third inning. Seaver off the stretch. Breaking pitch low and away into the dirt again. Buford is at first. Belanger is the runner at third. The 1-0 pitch to Blair. Swung on and missed. It's 1-1. Belanger at third and Buford at first with one away. Ball is bunted up into the air and Seaver lets it drop. Now goes to first and now they have a shot but no throw at second. Seaver purposely let the ball drop to see if he had a possible shot at a double play. Decided he'd better hustle it over to first, and then no throw was made to second on Buford. Two men out, runners at second and third.
That's the same play that Paul Blair pulled in the 12th inning against the Minnesota Twins with a bunt down the third baseline. It was a safety squeeze. Belanger was waiting at third to see what happened. But I think you're right. Seaver was trying to set it up for the double play and thought he might be too late at second.
Seaver on more than one occasion has alertly done just that sort of thing to get two when he might have got one. Frank Robinson now up there. And it's high and away for a ball. It's 1-0. Buford at second, Belanger at third, two men out. Mets are leading by a score of 1-0. Robinson flied to center in the first inning, to left center. Breaking pitch, misses low and away, and it's 2-0. Seaver's control has not been exceptionally sharp. Belanger at third, Buford at second. Fastball swung on and missed, and it's 2-1. Of course, he realizes that all he has to do is make a slight mistake to Frank Robinson up there right now, and it's 2 runs, and the Orioles are out in front. 2-1 delivery. And it's popped up foul to the right side and playable to Donn Clendenon. Side is out. It is no run. 2 hits, no errors, and 2 left. And in the middle of the third inning, the score is the Mets 1 and the Orioles nothing.
Hey, Lou. Over here in the press box, they're all saying that they don't think Weaver's been officially thrown out. I'm sure he's out. All right, well, why don't you scan it, Lindsay, and I'll talk about it on the air, because they can't ever remember a manager being ejected from a World Series game. No. From the dugout. Was given the heave-ho sign, it looked like, from umpire Shag Crawford. We cannot find him in the dugout. There's some question along the press that he is officially out of the game. And many of the old-timers who've covered World Series for years cannot ever remember a manager being ejected from a World Series game.
Al Weiss is up, and he takes it in there for strike one. This is Weiss's first time up. And it's low for a ball. It's 1-1. Well, I'm sure that Harold Weissman, the Mets Director of Public Relations, will be able to get in touch downstairs, and we'll get definite information. Here's a swing and a miss. It's 1-2 on Weaver's status. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swung on, hit on the ground to third, and Brooks Robinson does not handle it, and Weiss is on at first. The Oriole third baseman. Brooks Robinson moved to his left and retreated, and it was off his glove and chest.
Batting in the ninth position, pitcher, number 41, Tom Seaver, number 41.
That'll bring up Tom Seaver in a sacrifice circumstance here. We'll wait for a scorer's decision. The scorers are Dick Young of the New York Daily News, Joe D'Urso of the New York Times, and Lou Hatter of the Baltimore Sun. Orioles protect against the sacrifice likelihood as Seaver bunts foul for strike one. It's scored as a base hit. It is a base hit for Al Weiss. Sacrifice still on, and it's low out of the strike zone. 1-1. The Mets are leading 1-0, and they're batting here in the bottom half of the third inning. Seaver has checked with the sign man Eddie Yost at third base. Low for a ball. It's 2-1. Seaver checks the sign again. Weiss takes the lead at first, and there's nobody out. 2-1 pitch. Bunted on and missed. No throw. Nobody at the bag, and it's 2-2. Ellie Hendricks had the arm caught. There's Yost running through the signs for him. Yost never played a day of minor league baseball. He has a master's degree from New York University. It's said that the Met coach at first, Yogi Berra, has a doctor's degree from Casey Stengel. It is bunted foul, and it's 2-2. Check it. It's the third strike bunted, and he's a strikeout victim. It was the third strike bunted foul, and he is a strikeout victim. The second for Cuellar. That'll bring up Tommy Agee, who has been up one time, and he grounded out third to first. Runner at first now, one away. Bottom half of the third inning. Breaking pitch in for a called strike. Hit. Buford comes over, gets the one hop, wheels it to third, and Weiss holds it second. So Agee's on it first. He ripped that one into left field.
Watch him go after this low pitch now. Cocks that leg a little. Golfing the low pitch.
Shortstop.
Bud Harrelson's coming up. He's a switch hitter batting right. He's been up one time and had a single to left field. Foul it off, and it is strike one. Runners returning, Agee to first and Weiss to second. And Jim Harden is up and throwing in the bullpen now for the Baltimore Orioles. Right-hander Jim Harden. The count is strike one to Harrelson. There's one man out. Missed outside, it's 1-1. Screwball. Ground ball. Johnson comes up with it, makes the play to Boog Powell just in time to get Harrelson. Runners moving up.
Powell was pulled off the bag and trying to field that ball, and he just found his way back there.
So now it'll be Cleon Jones coming up with runners at second and third and two men out. Cleon bounced into a double play in the first inning. He's had only one hit in the World Series thus far. Jones was the National League's all-star left fielder this year. Foul off and out of play. Strike one. Al Weiss at third. Tommy Agee at second with two away. Mike Cuellar. Ground ball, and it's taken by Robinson, and the play to Powell in time. The Magic Glove came up with that one, and the side is retired. No runs, two hits, no errors, and two men left. The end of 3 full innings of play, the score is the Mets 1, the Orioles nothing. To Tony Kubek.
Thank you, Lindsay. Gordon McCrae, your pipes were in good tune today for the national anthem.
Well, thank you very much, Tony. It was a privilege to be invited here to sing. Once again, I open up the season with the Mets. It's great to see this team come along, not only for baseball, for all sports, for New York, and for, I guess, the country in general. Wouldn't you say, Tony?
Gordon McCrae, thank you so much. Right now, let's you and I sit down and watch the ball game.
Right.
Let's go back upstairs.
Boog Powell at the plate. Seaver's pitch in there for a called strike. Powell's been up one time, and he was called out on strikes. Through 3 innings, the Mets 1 run, 4 hits, no errors, and the Orioles no runs, 3 hits, no errors. Fastball in tight. It's 1-1. Brooks Robinson there on deck. Curveball hit on the ground to second. It's taken by Weiss, and can Clendenon get back? He can, and if he couldn't have, Seaver was there. One away.
Third baseman.
Watch Joe Garagiola each morning on the Today Show as he brings you highlights of the World Series and talks with stars of each game. That's a great way to start the day, Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. Brooks Robinson, then up one time, grounded out short to first. Swing at him is. Started him off with a slider. That is popped up. Charles and Harrelson, and Charles makes the catch as Harrelson leans out of his way. Leaning right over the cylinder on which the tarp is rolled up.
Catcher.
That'll bring up Elrod Hendricks. He's been up one time and he drew a walk. Tom and Nancy Seaver have a pet dog, and the name of the dog is Slider, which might give you some idea of what Seaver's pet pitch is.
We've just received word from the Baltimore dugout that Billy Hunter, the coach, is now running the Baltimore club after the manager, Earl Weaver, had been ejected by umpire Shag Crawford.
There's a pitch low for a ball. It's 1-0.
And Lindsay, they went up and down the press row to many of the veteran riders, and none of them can ever recall a manager being thrown out of a series game.
Foul back and out of play. It's 1-1.
Plus, we remember the 34 series, the Cardinals and the Tigers, when the Commissioner Landis had to remove Joe Medwick from the field when the Tiger fans showered the field with fruit when he went out to take his position in the outfield.
There's a 1-1 pitch, changeup, and he did not get it in the strike zone. It's 2-1. Two-one delivery. Swung on, hammered on the ground, and it is Clendenon to Seaver for the put-up. And Clendenon ranging wide to make the play. No runs, no hits, no errors, none left. And in the middle of the fourth inning, the score is the Mets 1 and the Orioles nothing. Pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network. This is Lindsay Nelson with Curt Gowdy and Tony Kubek at Shea Stadium in New York, and another sellout crowd packed and jammed here. Seaver got spiked on that last play, and so trainer Gus March is there. The ethyl chloride and a little more medication. That's manager Gil Hodges looking on. Seaver got spiked on the last play as he covered first base and took the throw there. So he's getting attention to the left foot in the dugout. It's Clendenon up now. He had a home run earlier that provided the only run in this ball game. Swings and misses. During the season, only 4 of Clendenon's 12 home runs for the Mets were hit here at Shea Stadium. Swing and a miss. 2-strike count.
Like Clendenon set a pattern for the Mets after their opening loss to the Orioles. He said they didn't overpower us. He said, I'm not in awe of them. I'm more convinced than ever now we're going to win the series. That was his statement.
Cuellar's pitch low and away, and it's 1-2. That's on the outside corner, a called strike 3. Struck him out with the scourger. Here's Seaver now. Watch him as the play is made there.
Right fielder, Ron.
He gets Spike right there. Right there. The left foot, as you saw. Ron Swoboda's been up one time, and he grounded out short to first. We're in the bottom half of the 4th inning. A swing and a miss, strike 1. Strike 2. Since the Atlanta Braves started no left-handers against the Mets in the championship series, the Mets used their left-handed batting order for the 3 games in which they swept the Atlanta Braves for the National League pennant. There's a base hit up the middle now for Ron Swoboda. Punched it on the ground. Blair returns it, and Swoboda is on.
Third baseman.
That is hit number 5 for the Mets off Cuellar, and brings up Ed Charles.
Number 5.
At one time, grounded out short to first. Low for a ball. I think Ed Charles is enjoying being in the World Series as much as any player on either team. There's Gowdy on deck. And he is hit by the pitch ball. Charles hit by the pitch ball.
Trying to get out of the way with that fastball. Rode right out into him. And Charles now, looks like he was hit on the finger. Gus Moss, the Met trainer, Gil Hodges with his back to you, the manager. Suddenly the Mets have come up with a couple of injuries. Their pitcher Seaver's been spiked, now their third baseman. They just nipped Seaver at first base. Seaver and Yogi Berra thought that Seaver had it beaten out. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, nobody left. At the end of 5 innings, it's New York 1 and Baltimore nothing. Pause now for station identification.
Left fielder, Donn Buford. Number 9.
Donn Buford, Paul Blair, and Frank Robinson. The top of the order for the Orioles in the 6th inning. New York leading 1-0. Buford has struck out, bounced into a force play. The curve is inside. And the Orioles, a top run-producing team all year, have now been scoreless in their last 16 innings. 1-1 to him. They have scored just 1 run in the last 27 innings. When you say they've been stopped cold by the Met pitchers, that's an understatement. The 1-1 pitch. Foul back, it's 1-2. Official paid today, $57,367. Seaver struggled a bit in the second, in the third, but now he's retired 9 in a row. He seems to be getting a little stronger and sharper as the game progresses. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Pounding ball to Clendenon. The plate of Seaver covering. Run down. The Orioles have had just 3 hits today. They had 4 yesterday and 2 last Sunday in Baltimore. Paul Blair has singled.
Number 6.
And been thrown out by the pitcher. For those that have joined us late, it's about 67, 68 degrees here. This has been the coolest game of the World Series so far. There's Frank Robinson on deck. But a brilliant sunshiny afternoon, and right now, no breeze. 1 out, nobody on. 1-0. Seaver mixing up his pitches. Fastball, slider, curve, changeup now and then. He's high with that pitch. 2-0. And also, for those that joined us late, Earl Weaver, the manager of the Orioles, has been kicked out of this game in the 3rd inning, the top of the 3rd. Ball 3, 3-0. Billy Hunter, the 3rd base coach, is running the team. There he is, the acting manager. Three and nothing to Paul Blair. Right into him, 3-1. Ball 4. That's the second walk given up by Tom Seaver. Frank Robinson's fly to center, fouled out. Frank now's had 1 hit out of 11. Ball. He's carried his stardom into both leagues. Most valuable player in the National League, most valuable player in the American League. The only man to ever do that in Major League history. Lifetime batting averages of .303 in the National and .303 in the American. 1-0 to Frank Robinson. Blair at first, 1 out. 2-0 now. And Gowdy decides he better have a little chat with Seaver. Boog Powell on deck. Two and nothing to Frank Robinson. Ripped away, 2-1. Paul Blair, who stole 20 bases during the season, is on first. That foul is twisting toward the seats, going to be out of play. It's not going to be much longer until the shadows are going to be over the batter's box. And the pitcher's going to be throwing out of that glare, that bright sun from the pitcher's mound. The batter's going to be in the darkness, which makes it tougher on the hitter. 2 balls, 2 strikes. One out, Blair at first. A high pop-up. Bud Harrelson, the shortstop, calling for it. 2 down. John Powell has taken a call for a strike and grounded out. He's had 3 out of 13. They've all been singled. The singles have been in the hole to right field. In fact, the Orioles, Lindsay, have had only 2 extra base hits in this series, both by the same man, a home run and a double by Don Buford in the opening game.
In the dugout before the game, some writers were saying to manager Earl Weaver, what do you think has stopped the power of the Orioles? He said, those fellas out there on the mound.
Blair at first, 2 down, Mets leading 1-0, top of the 6th inning. 1-0 to Powell. Seaver's been working outside to him today. Kerr was out there, 2-0. Seaver's winning percentage of .781 this year was the best of the National League among pitchers who won at least 15 games. That's Brooks Robinson in the on-deck circle. 2-0. Outside to him again, 3-0. He's throwing very hard, though. He appears to have a live fastball right now. It's crackling. He's trying to keep Powell from pulling the ball to right. Gets it in there to him. Powell fouls it off his foot. Boog was going after that 3-0 pitch. He figured that probably would be as good as the pitch he was going to get. Top of his right instep. That hurts. I've seen some players, Lindsay, they have to wear the shin guards. Ted Williams used to wear one. Vic Wirtz, certain players, they get a bone bruise and it stays with them for months.
Well, that's how Frank Robinson hurt his right instep taking batting practice. Foul one off of it.
The count to Boog Powell, 3 balls and a strike, 2 down. Paul Blair at first. New York Mets leading the Baltimore Orioles 1-0 in the top of the 6th inning. Runner going. Foul back. Blair had a good jump that time. Three and 2 to Boog Powell. Clendenon looked over into the dugout and he said, play on the bag. He was going to be off the bag. Hodges ordered him to hold Blair, so he couldn't get too good a lead. 3 and 2, 2 down. He'll be going. There goes Blair. Foul back. All right, we're ready for another 3 and 2 pitch. You'll see Blair break now. On the way. Foul again by Powell. If the World Series goes 7 games, next Sunday you'll see another baseball-football doubleheader on NBC. Coverage beginning at 1:30 Eastern Time. If there's no World Series game on Sunday, you'll see an AFL football doubleheader with a 1:30 Eastern Time start. Next Sunday's game in the American Football League, Denver's playing at Cincinnati, San Diego at Boston, Buffalo at Oakland, Miami at Kansas City. Check your local listings for the game or games in your area.
Some kind of a query, Curt, that Seaver had of umpire Lee Wire at second, and then Wire took the baseball, examined it, and threw it out, and another's been put in play.
Three and two's the count to Boog Powell. 2 down, Paul Blair at first. Blair starts. Powell hits a high fly in the left center. Agee's calling for the ball, and the Orioles are gone in the sixth. No runs, no hits, no errors, 1 left. At the end of 5 1/2, New York 1 and Baltimore 0. Outstanding baseball stars headed by New York Mets promotion director Arthur Richmond scheduled to leave for the Far East on October 27th to visit wounded U.S. servicemen in military hospitals throughout Japan, the Philippines, Okinawa, Guam, and Hawaii. Gaylord Perry, the Giants, Ed Charles of the Mets, Bob Vila of the Pirates, Phil Regan of the Cubs, and John Odom of the A's will be making the trip overseas to talk and entertain our men in the Far East. Tommy Agee bounds it to Brooks Robinson. Agee, who previously had grounded out in single, is retired on the first pitch. We understand that for 4 minutes, and
Shortstop.
8 minutes past 2 to 2:12, we lost our audio less severely through technical difficulties. We apologize for that. And I think everything is all right again. It was technical problem. Harrelson trying to bunt. Foul ball to him. He is singled and grounded out. Donn Clendenon's homer leading off the second is the difference of this game right now. The Mets are leading 1-0, last of the sixth. Leon Jones will be on deck. Sinker ball, 0-2. Cuellar, born in Cuba, lives in Puerto Rico. There's Jones. The ball is called Crazy Horse by his teammates. Ball, too. I'll tell you, he's not crazy when he throws that baseball. He knows what he's doing with it. He has a command of 5 pitches. He has learned his craft. 2-2 count. Little pop-up. Dave Johnson, the second baseman, puts it away, and we have 2 down. Leon Jones is one of the 4 Mets in this series who has not been platooned. That is, he stays in no matter who's pitching, left or right. This year he hit .344 against left-handers and .338 against right-handers. Team leaders against both kinds of pitching, so you can see why Hodges plays him all the way. He has hit into a double play, started by shortstop Belanger. He's bounced out to third. He's played about 2 steps toward left right now. A ball. 1 ball, no strikes to Cleon Jones. Changed up on him, 2-0. Five strikeouts for Mike Cuellar. He's not walked a batter. Hit hard to short. Belanger finally gets the handle and over to first. The Mets are down 1-2-3. These two shortstops have both played great ball. At the end of 6 innings, the score: New York 1 and Baltimore 0.
See him either.
Gave him the fifth pop yesterday. He's right up.
Funny thing, he doesn't come to nearly every game.
Oh, he doesn't?
Here, no, not nearly.
He did. He brought us. Join us again tomorrow, 12:30 Eastern Daylight Time. We'll start with a World Series report. Jim Simpson, Sandy Koufax, and Mickey Mantle. And then Game 5 of the World Series in living color right here on NBC. Brooks Robinson grounded to short and fouled out. 1-0. Seaver's allowed just 3 hits. That's headed toward the seats. Seaver has struck out 3, walked 2. Blair singled in the first. Belanger and Cuellar had back-to-back singles in the third. The Orioles haven't had a hit since the third. Just off the corner, 2-1. Veteran right-hander Dick Hall now is warming up for the Orioles. Foul back. 2-2 to Brooks Robinson. About another 5 minutes, that batter is going to be in the shadows. Hit slowly to Charles. Throws Robinson out. There's 1 down in the 7th. Well, the Orioles now have gone
Catcher, Elrod, Hendricks.
17 in the 3rd innings without a run. There's the call. Ellie Hendricks has walked and grounded out. Clendenon covers the first base line against him. The outfield swings toward right. You can look out there and see A.G. in right center for him. 0-1 to Hendricks. Nothing happened in the stands down below us. He pops it up as Seaver jammed him right on the fist. Harrelson squeezes it out, number 2. Seaver right now is overpowering these batters.
Second baseman, Dave Johnson, number 15.
Dave Johnson looking for his first World Series hit. In 69 has gone 0 for 8 coming into today. He's forced play and he's flied out to left. 0-1 to him. slider hit that corner, 0-2. Two left-handers tomorrow, Koosman and McNally. They were matched up on Sunday in Baltimore. 2 down, nobody on. 1-2 to Dave Johnson. Mets are leading 1-0 in the top of the 7th. Blew it right by him. An overpowering inning for Tom Seaver. At the end of 6.5 innings, it's New York 1 and Baltimore 0. Let's get down to the old Yankee flash, Tony Kubek.
With me, one of baseball's all-time greats, Stan Musial and Stanley. That Seaver looks like he's getting loosened up.
Yes, he is. His control is a lot better now. He's throwing much harder, so he's pitching very well.
Stan Musial, thank you so much. I appreciate you coming on for this short period.
Very good. Fine. Thank you very much.
Well, the fans have set back down after the Mets 7th inning stretch, and Donn Clendenon has strike 1 on him. He hit a home run, the only run of this game. That came in the 2nd. He struck out in the 4th. 0-2. He had tagged Cuellar for 2 hits in the opening game of the series. Cuellar is pitching him a little bit differently now. Down low, a lot of breaking stuff. Foul out of play. Well, this may be the last inning we'll see Cuellar, Lindsay. The Orioles have Cuellar due to hit in the top of the 8th.
Might very well be. They are still trailing by 1.
Comebacker to Cuellar. Easy play over to Powell, and there's 1 out. Ron Swoboda's up now. He's grounded to short, and he's single to center. Ed Charles will be on deck. One run, 6 hits for the Mets. No runs, 3 hits for the Orioles. Hit a curveball to left field. Buford back in. Swoboda's on. That's base hit number 7 for the Mets.
Third baseman, Ed Charles, number 5.
Ed Charles has grounded out and struck out. One and 0 to Ed Charles. Two and nothing to him. Swoboda at first, 1 out. Line drive deep. Buford's there, 2 down. Outside of Clendenon's home run, that's been the hardest hit ball of the game.
Number 15.
Gary Grody has struck out twice. One and 0 to Grody. Mets are ahead 1-0. Last of the 7th, the Orioles in the 8th have Belanger, Cuellar, and Buford scheduled up. That's Al Weiss on deck for New York. Foul out of play. The payoff to the players have been increased this year. The winners will get roughly around $15,000. Last year, the winning Tigers got $11,000 apiece. The losers will get $10,000, depending on the gate, but at least that, 2-1. And the losers last year, the Cardinals, collected $7,000 a share. Well, there's a little money on the line here this week.
Players have not overlooked that fact.
The 2-1 pitch. 3-1. In this 3-1 situation, the Mets have been starting their runner this series. Let's see if they do it again. Swoboda's the man there. Grody's the batter with a count of 3-1. Swoboda's holding, and it's foul back. Now with 2 down, Swoboda will go.
There he goes.
There he goes. Hit the short. Belanger over to Powell. The Mets are retired to the last of the 7th. No runs, 1 hit. There were no errors and 1 left. At the end of 7 innings here in New York, it's the Mets 1 and the Orioles nothing. Introducing Rudy Vale. All right, boys, watch for your pinch hitters.
Yeah, I watched the bullpen and the whole thing here, man.
There's somebody up there. Yes. All right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Eddie Watt warming up, Lou.
Dave Mays at the bat.
We pause now for station identification.
Shortstop. Mark Belanger. Number 7.
Curt Gowdy with Lindsay Nelson here at Shea Stadium. Mark Belanger leads off for the Orioles in the 8th inning. Strike one. Eddie Watt is warming up in the Oriole bullpen, and Dave May is on deck to bat for Mike Cuellar. And the Mets pitching staff, earned run average in this World Series, 1.36. Pops it up, hit the curveball. One down. The Orioles have not had a hit since Cuellar singled in the third. Dave May hit 242 this year. There's Eddie, let's see, that's on the Mets side.
Don Cardwell.
Don Cardwell, the veteran right-hander. Dave May hit 242 with 3 homers.
Your attention,
Dave
please.
May now batting for Cuellar.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Cuellar pitched himself
Batting for
a
Cuellar.
fine ball game, but
Number 12.
not quite as good as Tom Seaver.
Number 12.
Don Buford's on deck. Ball one. The Mets have stopped the Orioles with no runs in the last 18 in the third innings. Only 1 run in the last 29 in the third inning. One ball, 1 strike. 3, 6, 9, 13, 16, 17. Seaver's retired 16 of the last 17. Curve missed. Two balls and a strike. Fastball, 2-2. Checking back and talking to a lot of people in the press row, radio, TV row. The third game of the 35 World Series, Charlie Grimm of the Cubs was ejected from a World Series game, the manager of the Cubs. Seaver's getting tougher and tougher as this game goes along. The only other time it's ever happened. Earl Weaver was kicked out of this game in the third inning.
Buford. Number 9.
Evidently protesting a ball and strike decision. What was said, only Weaver and the umpire Shag Crawford know.
Weaver's antics with umpires were legendary during his minor league career. There was a time in the Eastern League he was ejected and sat down on third base. When he finally was persuaded to leave, he took the bag with him into the clubhouse.
5 strikeouts for Seaver. Don Buford watches that slow ball. 1-0. 1-0. New York Mets leading in the top of the 8th. The Orioles have 2 down, nobody on. Foul back. They're just not getting a good piece of anything off this kid. Seaver's last 8 starts in the regular season. He pitched 8 complete games and allowed only 8 earned runs in those last 8 games. Popped up. Third baseman Ed Charles there. And it's another 1-2-3 inning for Seaver. At the end of 7.5 innings, it's the Mets 1 and the Orioles nothing. Once again, Tony Kubek.
Thank you, Curt and Lindsay. With me down here, the manager of the St. Louis Cardinals, Red Schoendienst. And Red, I'm trying to think of a pitching staff that I've seen in a good many years that can throw as hard as this Mets staff.
Well, like everybody says, good pitching will stop good hitting, and so far the Mets pitchers have been doing a real good job. And Seaver's hadn't been pitching as well lately as he had been in the beginning of the year and all year. But today, after the fourth and fifth inning, he looked like his coordination and he's real steady right now, and he's really firing the ball right now.
Well, Red, you know, it looks like here's a fellow that pitched almost 300 innings during the season. You think Seaver's arm could be a little bit tired?
I don't think he's that tired because they usually used practically a five-man rotation all year, so he couldn't be too tired. But he's in the groove right now and throwing well.
Red, have you seen much of the Oriole ball club? How do they impress you?
Well, they got a terrific ball club with that guy at third base. Their whole infield, the outfield, good hitting, good defense, and their pitching is good. But like you get good pitching against another good ball club, and it depends on all pitching, and so far it's the Mets.
Red Shaney's, thank you so much. Incidentally, good luck next year.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Red Shaney's. Let's go on back upstairs.
Okay, Tony and Eddie Watt, 27 years old, is now on. He led the Baltimore staff in most appearances this year with 56. His record was 5 wins, 2 losses. He had 16 saves and a low earned run average of 1.65. Al Weiss, 2 for 2. 2 singles. 4 for 6 in the series. Strike to him. Straight away for Weiss and not too deep. Seaver will be on deck. He'll get a big ovation. Fly ball to left field. Buford almost in his tracks. 1 out. And as Seaver comes up, watch the crowd respond here at Shea Stadium.
Seaver.
Well, that's the sort of thing that happens all year long here at Shea, where the fans became famous before the team did. Curt, they believe in lavishing praise on their very own, and Seaver's been their very special pet.
Strike. He struck out, hit into a double play. Isn't he the one who really set the pattern that we can be a winner someday here?
Absolutely. It was his conduct and his belief.
Dave Johnson, the second baseman, handles Seaver's grounder, who just trots it out and tries to conserve his energy for the top of the ninth. Now the top of the order, and Tom Agee grounded out, single, and grounded out. And speaking of the top of the ninth, as Agee will move up, the Orioles will have Blair, Frank Robinson, and Boog Powell.
Number 20.
As Seaver will have to get the big boys in the Baltimore lineup out again. Been a tremendous year for baseball. Their centennial year. All-time teams picked. The All-Star game in the nation's capital. Reception by President Nixon there for baseball people. Foul ball, a new concept, 4 divisions. The Wild Wild West with 5 teams in the race down to the last week. The Mets lit up the whole nation with their story of overhauling the Cubs. Attendance record broken again. Sweep by the Orioles and the Mets in the playoffs, and now the World Series. So it's a 1-2-3 inning for Eddie Watt. And at the end of 8 innings at Shea Stadium, it's the Mets 1 and the Orioles nothing. The Orioles' last chance, the ninth inning. Paul Blair, Frank Robinson, and Boog Powell. Let's give a little tip of the hat today, Lindsay, to Mike Cuellar, who pitched 7 innings, 7 hits, 1 run, the home run by Clendenon. Didn't walk a batter and struck out 4.
Great performance.
Tom Seaver. Strike to the knee. We pause briefly for identification. This is the NBC television network. On deck is Frank Robinson. Seaver. Curve, strike 2. He has been getting sharper and sharper as this game has gone on. He's retired 8 in a row. 18 of the last 19 batters. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The only man to reach base since the 3rd is Blair, who walked in the 6th. 1-2 to Paul Blair. Being played straight away and fairly deep. There's a fly ball to right field. Ron Swoboda is waiting for it. 1 out. Frank Robinson and Boog Powell. Either one of these men with one swing of the bat can tie this game. That's Nancy Seaver.
She gets a little emotionally involved in these things, Curt, and she always sits in that seat when Tom is pitching.
Outside of Robinson, ball 1. A handsome young couple.
They are indeed.
Robinson's fly to center, fouled out and popped up. There's Boog Powell on deck. Check swing foul, 1-1. To show you how overpowering the Met pitching was during the latter part of the year, in their last 45 games, they had 1 shutout every 3 games. 15 shutouts of their last 45. They went over 800 batters faced their pitching, and not one got a home run in one streak. 1-1 pitch. Ball 2 to Robinson, 2-1. The Orioles were shut out 8 times during the American League season, but never twice in a row. They're 2 outs from being shut out twice in a row today. Foul back, 2-2 to Robinson. So the last 19 in the 3rd innings, the Orioles have failed to score. They've had only 1 run in their last 30 in the 3rd innings. Ed Charles right on the 3rd base line against Robinson. The guard against the extra base hit. It's a foul. It's going to be out of play. You can see Charles here in the 9th inning with 1 out. Step off the line. And Clendenon's guarding the first base line. They're guarding the corners. 2-2 to Frank Robinson. Coming back and out of play. Robinson's had some good swings. But just getting a piece of it. That's when you know that pitcher's got good stuff. Seaver reminds you a lot of Robin Roberts in his prime. The 2-2 delivery. Base hit to left field by Frank Robinson. Fumbled momentarily. Robinson is holding, though. So the Orioles have the tying run on now in the top of the 9th. And Boog Powell, the batter. There's the first hit for the Orioles since the 3rd. Powell has struck out, grounded out, fly to center.
First baseman, John Powell.
Right-hander Ron Taylor, left-hander Tug McGraw are heating up in the Met bullpen. One to nothing. Mets leading in the 9th inning. Frank Robinson at first, 1 out for the Orioles. Powell the batter, Brooks Robinson on deck. Seaver's challenging these hitters with his fastball. They're deep and about 3 steps to right for Powell. He can hit the power to left center also. Change-up, bounding ball into right field. Robinson will come to third. Here's the throw by Swoboda, cut off by the shortstop, Harrelson. And the Orioles have the tying run at third now. The lead run at first with 1 away. They finally got a ball over Clendenon's head. Gil Hodges never showing much emotion. Finally he's excited and gets up.
That's Jerry Kuzman there just beside him. Will be starting tomorrow. Here comes Gil.
Blair flying out. Frank Robinson single to left. Boog Powell a single to right, sending Robinson to third. The batter will be Brooks Robinson. McGraw and Taylor in the bullpen. Leaving him in. There's Taylor the right-hander, McGraw the left-hander. One down. Fly ball could tie it up for the Orioles. Nancy Seaver. Robinson has not had the ball out of the infield. Grounded to short, fouled out, grounded to third. Straight away for him in the outfield. And there's a drive to right center. Swoboda comes up with it. The tag at third. Here comes Frank Robinson. The game is tied. Ron Swoboda making another sensational catch for the Mets. Frank Robinson, the old veteran, they're going to appeal at third that Robinson left too quickly. But Frank Robinson, here's a grab. Look at that, Lindsay.
Beautiful catch by Ron Swoboda. And now the Mets are going to pull the appeal play at third. The call is safe.
Frank Robinson, a very, very smart ball player all his career. Played that one perfectly. He waited there at third. That ball hit hard. Left as soon as Swoboda touched it. If Swoboda had missed that ball, the Orioles would have gone ahead. It would have rolled to the fence. And Boog Powell, though not a fast man, probably could have scored from first. So they're 2 down. We're in a 1-1 ball game now. And give Brooks Robinson a sacrifice fly. The last 3 men in a row now have tagged Seaver. Ball 2. Brooks Robinson has come through so many times over the years with clutch hits for the Orioles. And that time was a clutch drive that got the tying run in. There's a long belt down the right field line, and that one is foul. Ellie Hendricks just missed a 2-run homer. And these Met fans are oohing and awing now. I believe Seaver is too, and there is Hodges. Two balls, 1 strike. 2 down, Powell at first. 3-1 to Ellie Hendricks. Dave Johnson's on deck. The Orioles finally cracked back into the scoring column. Brooks Robinson drove in the last Oriole run in the 7th inning of the 2nd game. Powell back off the fifth. It's 3-2. With 2 down, Powell will be going on this pitch. Jones has made a fine play in left today, and Swoboda that diving stab in right. The 3-2 pitch. Runner going. A drive out into right field. Swoboda's over there and flags it down. 1 run. now tied 1-1. Join us again tomorrow at 12:30 Eastern Time when NBC Sports begins its coverage of Game 5 of the World Series. World Series report hosted by Jim Simpson with Sandy Koufax and Mickey Mantle. Then Dave McNally of the Orioles goes against Jerry Kuzman of the Mets. Mike Cuellar on NBC. Bud Harrelson, Cleon Jones, and Donn Clendenon will be up. Eddie Watt's pitch fouled off by Harrelson, who is single, grounded out, and popped up. In the bullpen for the Orioles now, right-hander Dick Hall and left-hander Pete Rickard. Eddie Watt retired the Mets in order in the 8th. Mike Cuellar now is off the hook and no longer the pitcher of record. A ball. 1-1 to Harrelson. 1 run, 5 hits for the Orioles. 1 run, 7 hits for the Mets. That's the Baltimore bullpen. Strike 2 to Harrelson. 1-2. So how many better catches have you seen Swoboda make that during the year, Lindsay?
That was the Lulu.
2-2. His dive, if he'd missed that ball. The 2-2 delivery. A little bounding ball by the pitcher, charged by Johnson. Snaps. He has him at first base. Davy Johnson, second baseman, charging that one.
Left fielder. Play on. Jones.
1 out. And Cleon Jones up. And still the most unexcited man in this ballpark is the manager, Gil Hodges. That's the Oriole dugout. Jones has not had the ball out of the infield. He's hit into a double play, grounded to third, grounded to short. 1-1, last of the 9th inning. One to nothing. Two or nothing. His curve just missed. Watt thought he had the plate. W-A-T-T, Eddie Watt. Fastball for a strike. He came out in the Baltimore dugout in Game 2 with a black snake draped around his neck. Mo Drabowski had left it in the clubhouse. 2-1 pitch. Ground ball into left field, and the Mets now have the winning run at first. Buford's back into Davy Johnson.
First baseman, Donn Clendenon.
Donn Clendenon, the batter. Clendenon hit a home run in the second, struck out in the fourth, bounced to the pitcher in the seventh. Deep, straight away. Curve for a strike, and really playing in deep now, backing up, is Buford in left field, almost to the warning path. The glare is not as deep, and over in left is Buford, way back. Fouled out of play, strike 2. Cleon Jones at first. 1 out, last of the 9th inning. Game tied 1-1. On deck is Ron Swoboda. Struck him out on 3 pitches. Had him going for a bad ball that time. 2 down. Swoboda will get a hand for that diving catch. Grounded to short and had 2 hits.
Number 4.
Leon Jones at first stole 16 bases during the season. They're 2 down. Curve is hit in the air to right field. Frank Robinson coming. Can't get it. Over to third is Jones. The throw comes into Powell. Runners on first and third. Swoboda has his 3rd hit in a row. As he looped it into shallow right. Art Shamsky now is coming out to bat for Ed Charles. The left-handed hitter, Art Shamsky. Remember, Earl Weaver, the manager of the Orioles, was ejected from this game in the 3rd inning. The coach, Billy Hunter, is now running the club.
Your attention, please,
and here is Bamberger, the pitching coach of the Orioles, coming out.
Number 24, Art.
Let's see if they make a move to Rickert, the left-hander. Now they're calling Boog Powell over. The Mets now have the winning run at 3rd in Cleon Jones. He's the man that counts. Swoboda's at first. They're 2 down. The game tied 1-1 in the last of the 9th. Shamsky hit 300 this year, had 14 homers. He tore the Braves up. He had 7 out of 13 against the Braves in the National League Championship Series. Watt is staying in. Shamsky's played as a pull hitter to right field. Seat squirm in time right here at Shea Stadium. Swings and bounds it out to Dave Johnson, and we're going to extra innings. Shamsky grounds out on the first pitch. No runs for the Mets. 2 hits. There were no errors. And 2 men left. At the end of 9, it's Baltimore 1 and New York 1.
To the press gate, please. Thank you.
To do that. I'm sorry, but I have to argue it. But here we are with a dramatic thing of a recent NBC program. Tonight at 11:30 Eastern Time, NBC News presents A Day in October. What does it mean? A 90-minute program evaluating today's Vietnam moratorium. Frank McGee, John Chancellor, and Edward Newman will join other NBC correspondents. Tonight at 11:30 on NBC, and right now at 3:19 New York time, we're going to the 10th inning at Shea Stadium. And to tell you about the 10th inning, Lindsay Nelson.
Thank you very much, Curt Gowdy, and hello again, everybody. Dave Johnson coming up. Wayne Garrett is now playing 3rd base for the New York Mets. Ed Charles having been removed for the pinch hitter. Seaver still on the mound, and here's the pitch. In there for a called strike. Seaver has been in here all the way. He struck out 5 and walked 2. Breaking pitch hit to Garrett and on through him and off toward the rolled up cylinder. Backed up by Harrelson to hold him to 1 base. So Johnson leads off here in the top half of the 10th inning.
Belanger, number 7.
And it's on at first. It'll be Belanger coming up now, the number 8 man in the order. Checking with Billy Hunter, who is the acting manager, with Earl Weaver having been ejected by umpire Shag Crawford. Dick Hall throwing out in the bullpen now for the Baltimore Orioles with Belanger up there. That was Johnson's first hit in this series. He was 0 for 11. Belanger squares. Gowdy moves in to take it. It is strike 1. Johnson the runner at first. We're in extra innings here at Shea Stadium in New York. Fourth game of the World Series. Bunted up into the air. Who can play it? Gowdy can in foul territory. So Belancha has bunted out, and now Watt is going back to the dugout, and I think we'll get somebody to bat for Eddie Watt. Clay Dalrymple has come out with a bat. Clay Dalrymple, who is a left-hand batter, a catcher by trade, formerly with the Philadelphia Phillies. He is batting for Watt, and Dick Hall's throwing in the bullpen.
For Baltimore, batting for Watt, number 3.
The last extra inning game before today in the World Series was the 5th game of the 1964 World Series. St. Louis won it 5-2 at Yankee Stadium in 10 innings.
Tell you what to do.
As Dick Hall. Fastball is low. Johnson, the runner at first with one man out. Line into center field for a base hit for the Orioles. Agee one-hops the ball. Johnson holds it second. Agee returns it. Dalrymple's on. There are runners at first and second. One man out, and Don Buford coming up. Score tied 1-1. The Orioles are batting in the top half of the 10th inning. And here comes pitching coach Rube Walker to the mound for a word with Seaver. The bullpen is busy. Ron Taylor and Tug McGraw, right-hander and left-hander, in double barrel action in the Met bullpen. There they are. Seaver stays in the ball game. Buford is a switch hitter. Struck out, grounded into a force play, grounded out first base to the pitcher covering and popped out. Breaking pitch low for a ball. Buford homered off Seaver last Saturday in Baltimore. Johnson at second base. Dalrymple at first base. And it's a high fly ball to deep right field. Swoboda's back in the warning track, has it lined up. Johnson tags at second, moves across. Throw goes to second. Runners at first and third now with 2 away.
Center fielder, Paul.
That will bring up Paul Blair.
Number 6.
Had a base hit. Tried to bunt his way on and was thrown out at first. Walked and flied out to right field. So the Orioles have the go-ahead run at third base now, with runners at first and third, 2 away in the top half of the 10th inning. Two delivery. Breaking pitch struck him out. So we'll be going to the bottom of the 10th. Strikeout number 6 for Seaver. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, 2 left. In the middle of the 10th inning, the score is the New York Mets 1, the Baltimore Orioles 1.
for Baltimore. Now pitching, number 29, Dick.
Now Dick Hall has come in to do the pitching for the Baltimore Orioles. Eddie Watt worked 2 innings. He allowed no runs, 2 hits, struck out 2 and walked none. Dick Hall is the oldest man in this World Series. He's 39. During the regular season, he was in 39 games, won 5, lost 2, had an earned run average of 1.92, and he was credited with 6 saves. Has great control. Gave up only 9 walks in 65 2/3 innings in 1969. This is his first World Series game. He began in the Pittsburgh Pirate organization in 1952 and opened one season for the Pirates as a third baseman. He's an alumnus of Swarthmore, and when he was undressing after the ballgame in the locker room, one of the Pirate veterans looked across and said, "What's that on your T-shirt?" He said, "My fraternity pin." They said, "The way you play third base, you better take it off. It'll be permanently attached to your chest."
One thing he does and has done over the years, Lindsay, probably as well as anyone in the major leagues, is throw strikes.
He gets the ball over, and he went to camp this year, of course, with the Orioles as a free agent, having been cut loose by the Philadelphia Phillies, made a place for himself, and he's been a handy man to have around. So it's in the hands of Dick Hall for the Orioles now as the Mets send up the number 7 man in their order, Jerry Grody, who struck out looking, struck out swinging, and grounded out. 0 for 3 for the day. Bottom half of the 10th inning before a crowd of more than 57,000 at Shea Stadium in New York. Game number 4 of the 1969 World Series. The Mets leading 2 games to 1 coming into today's game. Foul back at strike 1. The Mets got a run in the second here today that stood up until the top of the 9th when the Orioles scored 1 to keep this game alive. Change up and it's high. Al Weiss on deck. That's high and off the glove of Ellie Hendricks. No damage done. There are no base runners. It's 2 balls and a strike now to Jerry Grody. Only Tug McGraw throwing at the moment in the Met bullpen. It is popped up down the right field line. Frank Robinson gives it a long run, but this is out of play. Robinson's there, Johnson's there, Powell's there, but it's well back into the lower field boxes. Two-two the count now to Grody. Off. Dick Hall has a deceptive delivery, if you'll notice. It's been described as something like a beach chair unfolding. 2-2 pitch. It's high, a little tight. It's 3-2 now.
I don't think Hall will get mixed up in the count. He's quite a mathematician.
This will be a payoff pitch. Popped up into short left field, and Buford couldn't see it. He lost it in the sun momentarily. Gallanza can't handle it. Play at second base, and he is safe at second. Jerry Grody in at second base. Don Buford momentarily lost it in the sun. Got a late start.
I think Buford lost his balls that came off the bat. He's deep out there. Look how far Belanger's going out. Now, here comes Buford breaking. If Belanger had caught this one, it would have been about as deep as you've ever seen a shortstop go out for a pop-up. Here's a throw in. Brody's in there. The Mets have the winning run. Now at second base, and we're going to have a pinch runner.
Rod Gasper coming in to run for Grody. As the Mets make a bid to win it here in the bottom half of the 10th inning, it is Gasper running for Grody. Nobody out, and Al Weiss is coming up.
Gentlemen, for New York, at second base, running for Grody, number 17, Rod Gasper.
That's Eddie Yost talking to Al Weiss. You'll recall that it was Al Weiss who delivered the winning RBI in Sunday's game for the New York Mets, the 2-1 contest. Now, he's the number 8 man in the order. First base is open, nobody out, and pitcher Tom Seaver scheduled up next. So let's see what kind of a move that the Orioles make. The acting manager is Billy Hunter. In the third inning, manager Earl Weaver was ejected by umpire Shag Crawford. They're going to put him on this time. Weiss is being intentionally walked. Pete Rickard and Jim Harden throwing in the bullpen for the Baltimore Orioles. They're going to put Weiss on and see if Gil Hodges makes a move here. Gil might very well leave Seaver in there and let him go to the sacrifice. Or he might go to the pinch hitter. He has Tug McGraw throwing in the bullpen. We'll know in just a moment. That was a lob throw down to second in an attempt to get Gaspar wandering off the bag. So the intentional walk is accomplished. Seaver goes back to the dugout. Gil Hodges standing alongside Rube Walker. It's going to be a pinch hitter coming up, and it's J.C. Martin. He is a left-hand batter who in the championship series in Atlanta delivered a pinch base hit that drove in 2 runs. Now here comes George Bamberger to the mound. The guess is that the Orioles will go to their left-hander, Pete Rickard.
Your attention, please.
Martin will bat for
Ladies
Seaver.
and gentlemen, for New York, batting for Seaver, number 9,
Bamberger,
J.C.
who still makes his home, by the way, at Staten Island here in New York. Talking it over. There's Rickard looking in. Jim Harden's the right-hander. Rickard's the left-hander. He's saying, do you want me? No sign yet. Bamberger's still there. And now Bamberger turns and starts back toward the dugout. Now it throws back to the mound. Now the sign is going to the bullpen from the umpire down the left field line, Frank Sikora, and it's Pete Rickard coming in to do the pitching. There's a break in the action here at New York. And in the bottom half of the 10th inning, the scores, the Mets won and Baltimore won. Let's go down to our roving ambassador, Tony Kubek.
Down here with me in the commissioner's box, Chief Justice Earl Warren. And sir, I saw you keeping score here. I know you're a real ball fan.
Well, I have been all my life. I think I was a great ball fan because I never was a great ball player.
Well, I saw you before, and I said to your right-hand man, did the Chief Justice get that pinch runner, and you beat me to the draw. You had Gasper in the ball game before I did.
Gasper was in there, yeah.
This is quite an exciting series, isn't it, sir?
I think this may be the end of it with Gasper over the plate, too.
You think so? You sound like a Mets fan.
I am.
Thank you very much, sir. Chief Justice Earl Warren. Now let's go back upstairs.
All right, Tony, it is Pete Rickard now, the left-hander, who is coming here to work to J.C. Martin. Rickard won 7, lost 4, and an average of 2.21 in the regular season. So all the drama of World Series play, and this has been a dramatic World Series, has come down to this here in the bottom half of the 10th inning in this 4th game. As J.C. Martin comes up here now, he batted .209 during the regular season, and he had 3 home runs. Pete Rickard will be 30 years of age on October 29th. He was born in Floral Park, New York, and says he doesn't think anybody there still remembers him. Runners at first and second, nobody out. Tommy Agee on deck. He squares to bunt. Bunts the ball, a good one. It's taken now by Rickard. Throws to first, and it hit him in the back. Here comes the winning run. The ball is in play. The Mets win the ball game. The Mets win the ball game by a score of 2-1. As the throw hit Martin in the back. It was in play off in short right field, and pinch runner Gaspar scored from second, and the New York Mets won it in the bottom half of the 10th inning. Nancy Seaver
getting congratulations all around. Her husband, Tom, gets credit for the victory. J.C. Martin, in the midst of that, laying down what he intended to be a sacrifice bunt. Nancy is a happy, happy girl as Tom Seaver has his first World Series victory ever. The New York Mets have gone ahead of the Baltimore Orioles in World Series play 3 games to 1. What a finish, Curt.
It really was, and you nearly saw the catcher, Hendricks, and the pitcher, Rickard, both going for the ball. Rickard finally picked it up. He fired at Dave Johnson. Watch this now. Watch this. I don't know where you can see the velocity in this throw. A very tough throw to handle. Fired in hard to Davy Johnson. And the ball caroms away from his glove and is rolling out now toward the right side of the infield. And then scampering across the plate here comes Rod Gasper with a winning run. And the Mets have done it again. A sensational catch by Swoboda saved them in the top of the 9th. The Orioles had battled back to tie it. Swoboda made a diving grab off the bat of Brooks Robinson that could have gone through to the wall to score 2 runs. That's been scored as an error by Pete Rickard, by the way. And so the Mets win it 2-1 and now have a commanding 3-1 lead. All right, now let's quickly go down to Tony Kubek.
With me on the field, today's winning pitcher and a heck of a ball game, Tom Seaver. This must be the most exciting moment in your life.
It is. It has to be, Tony. It's the greatest. I've wanted this for I don't know how long. I guess maybe 9 years old, but this is the most beautiful ball club I've ever seen. They're just fabulous. It's a pleasure to play with them. It really is.
Tom, I talked to your wife before the ball game, and she was so darn nervous, and she said, I know Tom is, and I'm right out there with him. She's a great gal.
I think she gets more nervous than I do. She's a great bit of encouragement for me.
You pitched a good ball game, and it looked like you got stronger about the 6th inning.
I did. I got a kind of a second win and made a couple of bad pitches in the 9th inning, gave up a run, but this club just never stops fighting.
You think we're going back to Baltimore?
I don't want to, Tony. I hope not.
Tom Seaver, thank you so much. Congratulations on your first series victory. Hope there'll be many more.
There's some more, too. Thank
you so much. Let's go on back upstairs.
So the winning pitcher in this game is Seaver. The losing pitcher is Dick Hall. Grody doubled. He was replaced by Gasper, the pinch runner, who came in to score the winning run. It was 2 runs, 10 hits, 1 error for the Mets in 10 innings. Baltimore, 1 run, 6 hits, 1 error. Thanks to Alan Roth and Jim